Hello. First of all, I want to give a shout out to my friend Mike who took the thumbnail for this. You can call him Mikey Joe. I'll throw his channel in the description. Great photographer, great videographer, very good with automotive stuff, so go show him some love. He was over recently to check this out and lent me a lens and stuff like that. So yeah, he grabbed that photo of me holding it as a joke, new vlogging setup thing, which is probably not going to happen, but yeah, anyway, go show him some love. Second of all, I am filming this on the Fuji X100F, so I hope it looks and sounds okay, because I would normally be filming with this, but because I need it in the video, then I just thought I would throw this together on here. So I wanted to show off the Fs5 Mkii on the DJI Ronin S. Pretty heavily talked about. I know a lot of people buy this for like alpha cameras, which it's great for, but I know I was doing a lot of research for my A camera for something like this instead of like a Ronin M or any other two-handle kind of gimbal. I really wanted this to work, so I did tons of research and I found a lot of people that made it work. So I went to the camera store in Calgary here. I've mentioned it before. My friend Ron there let me bring my camera in and put this on their demo and walk around the store just to make sure that it balances okay. And it clearly does. I just wanted to show it off a little bit here because I know a lot of people see that a lot of people make pretty major modifications to make it work, and I've done none other than a small lens and then I put the screen over the top. But yeah, it works really, really well. I will boot up the app here. So I'm just gonna pair it. So there you go. Things that I would note to make it work. Obviously, the smaller the lens, the better. I have the 10 to 18 on there right now. Very small, very light. Makes it very easy to balance. And then also, I put the screen up top to kind of center the whole thing. And it just kind of, it really makes this system really compact. And it's actually not that bad. Like, you can tilt that without really losing balance because it's like right over the center of the weight there. So you can get some flexibility on that. If you shoot a little lower or a little higher, you should be able to adjust the screen. And then the other thing is I only have the BPU 30 battery in. I think if I went with the 60, you'd probably get a little bit more on the back end so that you could actually clear this rear motor, because right now the eyepiece will hit it as is, as balanced. But I know there's a video out there of a guy that does the underslung mode, no problem with this. And I think it's because he might have more weight in the back. So without any modifications that I see people making, then battery is the only thing I can think of. So they have the 30, the 60, and the 90 batteries. The 90 I feel like would hit it just on its own. So I think the 60 will give you that right amount of weight. And then the other thing too is you could maybe even try to get the screen a little bit more forward, or sorry, a little bit more backwards to do that same kind of thing, like to give more weight to the rear. So it works really well. It balanced. It was a bit of a pain in the ass, I will be honest. Right out of the box, you know, I think because I used the one at the camera store that's been used and been balanced, it was a little bit easier because it was maybe already near the settings that I would have needed for this. But right out of the box, it took a while to dial it in. And so what I did is the mounting plate on the bottom is pretty much right in the center of the body. It doesn't clear the front. That's basically all I can really describe it as, is that it comes really close to like where the bezel would start, and then it just trails off the end as necessary. But that I'm pretty sure is almost forward. Yeah, it's about like just at the 1 and then almost at the 6 for the front and the back kind of markings for right there. And then as far as everything else, it took some playing around. It's pretty much right in the center on the front here that you can see. It's like 8.4 there and about 1.5 showing on that notch. And then this drop arm here, this one is kind of a pain in the ass too, just on its own, just because you have to manage the weight while screwing it tighter and whatever. So that one's a bit of a pain. But I have this one at like 1.8 showing there, and then about 5.9 on that. And then as far as the back, this is arguably probably the hardest part to balance because this arm is under so much torque the weight of the Ronin itself and the camera, you almost have to support the camera to even slide it back and forth. So if you get one of these and you feel like it's really stiff, it's very normal. The ones that I've all used have been very, like, you don't want it to be sliding too much. The adjustments are supposed to be very little at a time. So that's really normal, and it's pretty much almost maxed out to that side. It looks about 0.4 is the clearance number that I see there. And then for the front and back one here, it's almost maxed forward at about 0.1, 0.2. I didn't have this as far forward, but when I ran a balance test, it came back that it needed to be rebalanced. Even though my hand tests made it seem like it was balanced, the balance test on the app came back rebalance needed on pan specifically. So I read extremes until it just basically came back that it was an excellent balance, and this is it on an excellent balance. You don't hear the motors working too hard. It's very smooth, and I got it for bigger projects that I have coming up that are going to require a lot of that cinematic smooth quality. And my only complaint with the FS5 Mark II is no in-body stabilization, so I want to get as much of that smoothness as I can without anything in post. So this is a stabilized lens, and I would only ever use a stabilized lens really on this camera, but who knows, now with this I might be willing to try some sharper lenses that don't have stabilization to see if I can get a better stable look out of this. So yeah, this is just a video basically explaining that it works without anything modified. I didn't screw a new plate in, I didn't put any weights into the back here, I didn't do anything to the camera that you couldn't do out of the box. Like I know some people, you know, add extra rig pieces and stuff like that. I've done nothing here, and it balances perfectly, and yeah, I'm very happy with it. I'm going to start doing some test videos with it. Unfortunately, we're still kind of dealing with the tail ends of winter. Things are very dead and ugly, and there's not a lot going on right now in the city, so I haven't done a lot outside with it, but next time I can throw together a few-minute project, then I would love to show off what this thing can do stability-wise. With the FS5 on it, it is a two-hand kind of rig. I mean, it's not insanely heavy. It's really not, because this camera as is just over 2 pounds. So like a 1DX is probably similar to that with a bigger lens on it. So that plus the weight of the Ronin itself, it's really not crazy. One-handing it is, I mean, you start to shake after a little bit, but if you can just kind of rig it up like this and even lean it onto your waist, then I think you're going to be laughing. It's not that difficult. So very, very happy that I just went for it instead of something two-handled and overhead. It's something that's going to work very well for what I want it to do, and just testing it just around the house and pointing at the dog and stuff like that, like I'm very impressed with it. So what I would like to do eventually is probably get a different monitor and attach it somewhere else. I think that would be a lot easier for different perspectives. And then also I would love to get, I'll probably get the 60 battery just to try to get different lenses on here too, because I haven't tried any other lens. Because I just knew this was going to be the best way to do it, was going to be the very simple, lightweight one. So yeah, that's the setup. If you guys have any questions about it, I know I didn't really cover a lot. I just wanted to get this out there, that this works perfectly fine. I know they don't cater to cameras like this, but it for sure works without any modifications, without any like custom fabricated bits. Like this is just some tinkering. And like I said, out of the box, it's a little bit of the pain in the ass, but hopefully if you are trying to do this and you have a similar setup, maybe my markings and my numbers, like the measurement numbers, have helped you just kind of get there. And then yeah, run through the app and you just do configuration, settings, more, and a balance test. I'm just gonna let that run, and let's hope that it comes back excellent, 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 like it did last time. Boom. There it is. Probably can't see it, but tilt, excellent, roll, excellent, pan, excellent. So technically you should be good to go. And like I said, if you've used any gimbals before, you can hear the motors when they're struggling. This doesn't do that. It sounds pretty capable. No, you can't use flashlight mode like this. No, you can't go underslung, and no, you can't do the 360 kind of barrel. But I don't care because I won't be doing any of that stuff anyway. But I think that the weight on the back would maybe help that a little bit. So if I get that battery and I rebalance it to make that stuff work, then I will let you know. But if you look, like, the clearance it's off by a few millimeters, so I think that little bit of weight would make it. And then yeah, like, that would just open up even more opportunities, more, you know, skateboarding, more like out the car door trying to get either horses running or cars driving by, something like that. So if you can get underslung on this, which I have also seen, then yeah, I think it even unlocks more opportunity for it, more potential. So like I said, this was just yes, it works. Nothing crazy. I know that once you balance a gimbal and mount to it, then usually you can't return them, and that was my fear. So I was lucky enough that the camera store had a demo, and I was able to take my camera as is and say, you know what, let's try it, take the hood off and just minimalize it to make sure it works. And it did, and I was still scared to buy one just in case I got stuck with it and it wasn't going to work. But I can tell you right now, this will work if you're okay to simplify the FS5 and go a lighter lens. And yeah, I will keep you posted if I change anything or if I add anything to it or if I discover anything new. If you have any questions about it, if you have issues balancing yours, or if you want me to even go through a balancing video on it completely from scratch, then I'd be happy to do that. But hopefully the numbers alone, they should answer some questions for you. I do have the screen mounted on the front left 1/4 inch hole right there. It might be the death of the two-handed gimbal. It's pretty comfortable. This, like, when you close in the tripod, like, that grip's really comfortable. This grip is extremely comfortable. The weight is there for sure, but just treat it like it's a workout and just get through it, and you'll get the muscle memory for it, and you won't even notice. So yeah, it's very nice and easy, light, easy to set down when you don't need it, don't need a stand or anything like that. And the battery life is incredible. Everything about this whole rig just steps up filmmaking as a whole. The compactness of this camera is why I bought it, and now mixed with this, I can comfortably be inside a car and shooting the driver, shooting a passenger, shooting people in the back. I can do all that kind of stuff. I can get in people's faces with it if I need to. So like I said, questions, leave them below. I will post a film shot solely on this in the next few weeks, and if you have any questions or want me to test anything, then I'd be happy to do so, and I will just see you in the next one.